I work on the internet and I do very abstract software development, and I felt that I was losing my anchorage with the real world. So I would spend part of my time doing my house up and part of my time working. And they actually complement each other very well, and they use very similar sort of techniques to designing the house as I would to designing computer software. Computer software is very abstract, and I can design a room completely in my head and then make it real, just as you would with computer software. Just because it's ultraviolet or red or whatever doesn't mean it's not everyday living. We just move around and live like this. In fact, it's very restful. It hasn't got the sort of operating theatre feel that most houses have. It doesn't create the stresses that most houses have, because there's lots of small rooms and it's low light. You don't get into the conflicts that you do. It's amazing that people design their houses so they look like situation comedies where people are at each other's throats, and then they're surprised that they're at each other's throats because they live in a great big white room, constantly irritating each other, whereas here we're just completely relaxed. I wanted a house that had low lighting and was very bright and colourful. I think interior design has gone completely the wrong way in the last 50 years around the world, and I think the fault has been television. People watch television, and in television you have white studios knocked through, and that exists so the plot works on a television sitcom or a soap. The white walls work because they give nice soft lighting to people's faces. But what's happened is people really think that's the way you should live. And if you were in this house 50, 100 years ago, the walls would have be brightly coloured. It would have been low lit. And the great thing about brightly coloured houses with low lighting is they are coloured. Modern day houses are white and boring. Everything is white. And it goes worse than that, because it makes you feel that you're going to damage everything, because the carpet's white, the settee's white, the walls are white. If everything's dark, you can't damage it, and you feel safe and secure as you move around the house that you're not going to destroy things. Having a house like this obviously isn't the normal anonymous white house, and people say, what would an estate agent think? And of course people have done their houses up to be absolutely the same, so that they can sell them and move on and get a slightly bigger house. And obviously you make a commitment when you do your house up properly to living there for a long time, and therefore it makes a much more of a statement about your individuality. The great thing about socialising in this house is that the rooms have an homogeneity to them. Every surface, wherever you are in any particular room, all tend to look the same. So as you go off into your thoughts, there's nothing to bring you back. You just go deeper and deeper and deeper into your ideas. And when you're sitting in a room with one or two other people and having a conversation, you can't escape from that conversation. There's no television to draw you away and to get you back to reality. You must go deeper and deeper into the conversation or the activity or whatever you're doing in there, and as a result, activity, be it dancing or be it chocolate ice cream, it has a greater intensity to it because there are no distractions. This isn't really an art installation. This is everyday living. Art has gone completely astray. People go out to a gallery, they buy some piece of pottery or a painting or something, and then they try and bring it back and include it into their house. I don't do that. I have employed many artists to work on my house, but we work together and they work as artisans to make the house beautiful and to use their skills and what I want as a vision in order to create a beautiful place to live. You don't create beauty by creating something that's precious. You create beauty by making something that's natural, and it's just there. It's strange that people in their gardens, they do that, but they're happy because the flowers will die at the end of the summer. So they create beautiful gardens, but when it comes into their house, the only art that they can include is some art that they've bought that has been given a preciousness by the fact that they use their credit card to obtain it. And if only people could apply the same principles inside their house as they do to their gardens, I think the world of art would actually move on, and we could get back to a time in which everybody had beautiful ornate furniture and actually made things around their house which were intrinsically beautiful. People talk about art, people immediately think of sheep in formaldehyde and so on, and they just think, well, this is absolutely irrelevant and meaningless. And still so much art. The first question you ask is, what does it mean? But if you go around my house and you look at all the beautiful things, you will never ever ask, what does it mean? You never look at a fairy grotto toilet and go, what does it mean? Because it's intrinsically obvious what it means. If you're a room full of red carpet, it's obvious what it is. And if your art, if you look at your art, if someone looks at your art and asks, what does it mean? Then you haven't really stated anything, have you? You've got to, if you've got an idea across, people will look at it and go, ah, yes, I see. The way that the rooms work is that each one conveys a certain mood. As you move from room to room, the idea is your mood should change. You don't need drugs or anything in order to go from being very high and pumping down to being completely relaxed. In here, in this red room, for instance, everyone feels very quiet and relaxed and peaceful. And feels at one with themselves. Although curiously, children, when they're in this room, run round and round and round and scream. And upstairs, say, in the forest room, they sit there in complete silence, whereas adults are in complete reversal of that. We've built a hot tub sauna complex down the bottom of the garden. Still only half the house is done, but we've got lots of ideas for doing the rest of the house. But definitely, mood overall is very much happier, and people who come here and visit are much happier because they don't feel that they can damage anything. They don't feel that they can injure themselves, and they can move around and feel completely relaxed, and that's happier for them. So it's happiness all round.